Right, we've got background music playing now, but this session is about how to control it. One of the basic controls would be to turn it on and off, I guess. So I've got a new interface here. So what I'm going to do is to add another component to it when we haven't used so far. So if we go to user interface, and we've got this thing called toggle. There it is. I'm going to put this down to the bottom of the screen. So again, click up here, hold Shift and Alt, and we'll put it at the bottom. I'll center it for the moment. Just zoom in on that. So I'm just going to move it across a bit. Just there. Now, it looks like one of those checkboxes, doesn't it? Which is exactly what it is. And we can use it as such. Move this down here. So we've got a number of choices about here. It can be on by default or off. So I'm going to leave it on because we're going to have the music playing. It's got several components to it. We just open that up. Right, we've got the background, which is the check mark, which is our tick here, and we've also got the label. So I can control the label. It's just an ordinary text box, and I can put in here some music on or off, and we can see it on our display here, the game display. Right, so that should be able to toggle the thing on and off. Now we've got in the toggle control, let's rename that, say music on off. We've got this on value change, which, like other buttons on the interface, can call a function. So we're going to create a function, and I think the best place to do that would be here in the background music object. So I'll just add a component, which is going to be a script. I'm going to call this sound control. And the next thing to do, of course, would be to edit it. Right, so here's our control. One of the things we'll need to do is to identify the sound control. So I'm going to put in a private reference here. And it's going to be an audio source. And we call that music. And here in the start we'll locate that audio source. So music equals get component. And it's the audio source type. Right, so that's our reference to it. And I'm going to create a public function down here, so we can get at it from the user interface control. I'm going to call this toggle sound. In other words, if it's on, then we'll turn it off. If it's off, we'll turn it on. Right, let's just put some space in there. Right, so we can enable or disable this music source. So essentially all we're going to do is change it to the opposite of what it is. So we should just put in music dot enabled equals not music enabled. And it's that simple. So if it is enabled, we'll make it not enabled. If it's not enabled, it will be enabled. So it's just the opposite. Let's just check that. Oh, Sorry, I forgot to put in the return type. Void. That looks good. Now we just need to go back to Unity here, and we just need to locate that particular function. It's still updating. So going back to the toggle and click on the plus button in the on value changed, which find the object, and this is going to be background music. There we are. And we'll look for that function in the sound control, and we should find toggle sound. There we go. So that should be able to turn the sound on and off. Let's check it. So it goes off, and if it's off, we can we'll get rid of that bang later on. So that works. We don't have to have it looking like this. We could change to a custom button. Now, here in the textures, I've imported an audio button object. Let's have a quick look at that. So this is something I created using Inkscape, and it's essentially two buttons, one with the cancel and one with the music, so it's fairly obvious. I imported that, and then I sliced it into two images. So this one is the button on, this one is the button off, and we're just going to modify the screen. Right, so have a look at the background. Now the background is the base object, and we've got the source image here. So this could be audio button 1. I'm just going to drag that in there, and that's our background where it's not on at all, and we've got it occupies the right size there. And the check mark, well, that's the tick. I'm just going to use the audio button 0, which sits quite happily on the other one because it's exactly the same size. And with that on, we don't actually need the label at all, so I'm just going to delete it. And there we've got our little audio button. Let's just check that works. There we are, so it's off and on.